What minutes are you talking
Your
about,
email.
Council President?
It was
The
by
minutes
way
of the
Minutes of the.
the last council
February
meeting.
16th.
Okay.
So if you don't have any email, you can get a copy of them while you're in the office today.
All right.
Okay. So we have one until next Tuesday, next Wednesday, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Remarks for agenda items only, 2 minutes.
Has anybody seen the agenda? Just want to see this.
Does nobody have any comments on agenda items?
Yeah, legacy communication. It's back on the, I see it's back on the list again.
Come up to the mic.
Oh yeah, I want to get myself on video too. Watch, I want to get you on video. Legacy Communications back on the list again. So we're gonna pay here. We're gonna pay him $20,000 for Fambro, who owes the city property. We're gonna take $20,000 that could be used in better places to give to William Fambro, somebody who owes the city property. It was a resolution from council that told him and ordered him to bring it back. And y'all giving him trying to sneak this in there? I don't think so. I really don't think you had that kind of money. Don't think so. So resolution 216 back on Fambro. Resolution 515 ridiculous. Stormwater project on Mayfair Elementary, and you guys are passing it for those kids. You have that much consideration for the children of this city at Mayfair to do that? I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah. It's my first time addressing council, so please forgive me. In regards to the resolution, I'm sorry, my name is Korea. I'm at 1516 Eddington. In regards to the resolution regarding the stormwater management program, again, I would like just to reiterate the fact that Mayfair Elementary School may or may not be a place, well actually it's not a good place to actually put that at. I would implore the council to really think about another stormwater management system that we could put over there. Last time I mentioned about the rain garden. I talked with the city of Cleveland Heights as well. Their stormwater management program is being implemented in the springtime. I think it would be a great thing to actually go over there and see what they actually look like. Instead of putting something over there, like I said, it can be potentially hazardous to the children. There are a lot of people in this city do not agree with that resolution. They do not agree that it should be over there. I think if you all would reconsider, maybe talking to Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District and coming up with a retention plan just for that specific area, we could forego the other two areas if that's a lost cause. But please, I implore you just to really, really honestly think about whether or not that is a good place to actually put that over there by where kids are. Thank you.
Thank you.
These announcements and this was not brought up to this general meeting today, and I'm had to hear it from word to mouth. Y'all never let us know until the last minute. And the stormwater, I do agree with Kareem about that. You should consider not to put it over there by the schools. We do have children over there. And you need to go further and see other sites. Explore other sites before you even think about that. I know the mayor is anxious for y'all to sign papers but don't be so anxious because we already have a dump that we already dealing from for anxiousness. All right.
Thank you.
Graham Robinson. I have a question for Mr. King.
Ms. Robinson, your address as well.
No, sir.
Yeah, your address.
Oh,
You need
okay,
that.
okay, all right. Stanwood. That's good enough.
Okay.
Mr. King, when I spoke to you about a week or two ago, after my first council meeting coming here, I asked you a question.
Agenda items only, please, Mr. Robinson.
This is part of that agenda, sir.
Okay.
This is part of it. Let me get to it, and I'm going to be out of your way. I agree with Ms. Saxton,
Yes.
Ms. Gowdy, and everyone here who truly believes that this infrastructure is not the proper way to go about handling things. It's not. I'm sorry. Mr. King, I don't know if you still live in East Cleveland. All I know is I would like to see the hands of all the councilmen who actually still live in East Cleveland while this is going on. And if you could do that for me right now, I would appreciate it. My point is this. If 2 out of 5 live in East Cleveland, then you know where I'm going with this. Where is the heart and the love and the dedication for your city, even in this current situation? Because if you had heart and love and compassion for your community, this is a beautiful community. I'm still in it 44 3/4 years. Mr. King, you talk about you graduated from Shaw High School. You already know Shaw High School is a rich and dedicated and loving school system. It's one of the best that we have in East Cleveland. It's the only one we got in East Cleveland. And what houses those schools? Heritage, Shaw High School, and all the surrounding schools, including Mayfair, our children. Do you people really want to put this around our children, our future? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know Gary's pushing this, but I'm going to say for the record, Mr. Wheeler, you're looking at me like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I'm sorry, I do. I have heart. I love this community. That's why I'm still in it. Mr. King, if you still have any heart left and love for your community, which you talked about prior,
Time, sir.
it's good.
Thank you.
But you need to reconsider this, council. Seriously.
Thank you.
Kelvin Irby, 14802 Elm Avenue. Council, I have done my homework. Mr. Wheeler, you have said over and over, don't come with stuff that is not true if you didn't do your work. If y'all got an e-pen, write this number down. This is Ohio EPA numbers. 216-881-6600. Rich Velasquez is over all of these two. His number is 330-963-1112. The reason I give you guys this number because you guys have been lied to. Only thing East
Hold it,
Cleveland.
Brother Irby. You said Ohio EPA was 881-6600. That's the North Ohio Sewer District, brother.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, can
One
you
of-
get
one
it
of-
straight? Okay.
My fault. I'm sorry. I got
All right.
Toledo number on another sheet of paper.
All right.
I was just flying gear. So 330-963-1112. Rich Velasquez.
330 again
963
963.
1112. Rich Velasquez.
And this is Ohio EPA.
Ohio EPA. Reason I give you guys this number,
What's his title?
he's supervisor. I've asked him to come here, but we can't do anything in the ninth hour. We can, but we need to talk about this real close. Talking to him over and over, come to find out that Ms. Helmsley, our law director, is not telling you guys the truth.
She's not.
She's not telling y'all the truth. Only thing that we have to do is get our permit. Our plumbing is fine. Back and forth, I've talked to several people, and to come compliance, all we have to do is get our permit.
That's it.
The sewer district is being fined by EPA if we don't come up to par. We've already complied. We have not complied because we don't have our permit.
That's it.
Their project has to either get us on their roster because they didn't do what they were supposed to do when they put this in. Now they want to bring it in and saying that the way it was said to me is, she would have the permit paid for if they get their opportunity, get their plumbing work done. So, listening to this over and over, I'm telling you guys, if you want to get your permit, we're done with it. We don't have to come compliance
That's it.
with it.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
That's it.
Let me start. Resolution 116,
Name and address.
same as it's been all the time.
Note for the record that it's all made. What's your address?
For the minute.
I need it for the minute. I'm asking for the minute.
I have to be broadcast my
Just down the street then.
and Rockford.
Right.
Anyway, getting back to ordinance 116, an ordinance establishing and adopting the hours for the regular regulating of new business in the service industry that seeks to locate within the municipal boundaries. I would hope that someone elucidate on this as to, you're saying is this businesses that wish to do business in our city, that you are setting up guidelines for them to regulate their business, and what would these hours be if that's the case? And secondly, Resolution 216, a resolution authorizing the East Cleveland City Council to engage legal Legacy Communication LLC in 1 year, $20,000 contract. Is this, have this gone out for bids, and how did you choose Legacy Communication to do this business? And I would implore you, before you act on this, read what the charter says in reference to business and contracts and people that are involved in them, and their friends or what have you, and you're lowering the price and awarding the contract. I would implore you to read that before you embark on this.
Your time. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And,
Okay.
let's go on. My time always go past everybody else.
Leon Hines, 16601 Cleveland. This is into conversation with resolution number 516. Once again, I implore my council's members to really take another look at the blueprints and all of the other things that are very important that have not or may have, if you have seen them. Basically, blueprints. Want to know the nuts and the guts of this project. If this project is to be handled and brought to this city, it should be a very detailed program. You should know all the schematics. You should know exactly where the pipes are going. You should know exactly where the depth of the pond. You should know the subsoil structure. They have an engineering firm. They are the engineers. They are the architects. This community is not, but the blueprint should be available to this council to make sure that it is done correctly. You are the stewards of this city. You are our people. You are our leaders. I ask you to do due diligence, your due diligence, before you make a decision on this issue. It is not as if time has run out. You have the time. You can always ask for more time. The government always gives us time. Thank you.
I have a question, sorry. You said blueprint schematics, the depth of the pond. What did you say about the soil?
The actual composition of that soil. May I expand a little bit? In other words,
She didn't ask the chair, but you can.
okay, may I? Thank you very much. Anytime that any type of construction is done in anywhere, there is a soil survey. It tells how depth it is. It tells you exactly what type of stone is up underneath it. Have they done this? Have they alerted us as to what's up underneath this subsurface? Because if they're saying that they have, then they have all of that paperwork, reams of it, ready to present it to you. And I implore my council to make sure you do your due diligence. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
On a side note, thank you for not taking too much more time. I talked with the chief inspector here at the city. He has a drawing to look at it with him today. And maybe me and you, and I got a couple other residents that want to get involved, kind of go through the process with them.
I would enjoy that conversation.
So I'll be talking with you at the end of the meeting.
And I encourage that, Brother Hines, always, in that if I looked at the blueprints, it'd be like
A puzzle?
yeah, it'd be a puzzle. I might be looking at this wall and asking to talk back to me. So, somebody that knows that. Okay, so share that with us once you guys do. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Council President, if the council would allow, I would ask that the clerk of council be allowed to read Section A and Section B of Rules of Conduct of Public.
Oh my God, we're getting chastised.
Just A and B. Before we move on, I would ask that she read these two. I highlighted them right there. Don't mind.
You know which ones he's talking about?
A and B, please.
Oh, baby.
Rule 21.
This is from the codified ordinances of the charter. Each person addressing council shall rise, come to the bar, give his or her name and address in an audible tone of voice for the record. And unless further time is granted by council, shall limit the address to 2 minutes in the opening portion of the meeting, while speaking on agenda items only, and to 3 minutes at the closing portion of the meeting, making remarks or requests in general. All remarks shall be addressed to council as a body and not to any particular member thereof.
Okay.
Thank you.
The mayor's not in, nor does it mean speak on his behalf, but it's still in review. New business. That's not for the agenda. Anything new for next week, please? Yeah. I don't think so. Reports of council committees. Do you have a report for next week, Martin? No.
Well, if I can get from Dr. Guy the minutes of that 3-hour meeting.
Will you be at next week's meeting? Will you be at the next week's meeting on the 15th?
Yeah, this council meeting?
Yeah.
It looks, everything looks
If you
okay.
can condition report, because it is rather lengthy, I'm sure.
Right, so
Okay.
what I like to get the minutes so I can condense all the key stuff.
Okay.
Also, I think it's also imperative to what Mr. Hines brought up about the blueprints, the schematics, and the composition of the soil. If we can get all that before our next council meeting, that would be fantastic. Right now, I would say that meeting, I mean, a lot of information was shared. I think no matter what information you get, in your heart, you try to find out if people are genuine or not. And I felt that Joe Jenkins, a former East Clevelander, he came across to me as for real. Now, I know he got a job, but I always go by my guts. And Jeff seemed for real. We were there for 3 hours sharing that information. I digested it. So based on this last caveat here, which is the blueprints, the schematics, and the composition of soil, there's nothing profound. I kind of know where I'm going, and you will find that out. So, but I like to be thorough, and like I said, I'm always advocating to do your research. So I will say this, in fairness, in the last 2 years, they've been out here 6 times. They've done robocalls. They've had meetings at the library. So we've had our shot at this thing. Okay, I'm trepidatious about this fine on the agreement. On the agreement, I don't think we really have. We got to do the agreement, but the agreement was articulated. Now, the 3 areas, the base and all like that, at this point is negotiable based on some of the concerns that Brother Hines brought up. That's where I'm at this point, based on the information. I'll say this too. If we had this kind of information shared with us before we agreed on that situation on Noble Road, we would never agree on it. But what was put before us was rocks and construction stuff, not the messes up there right now. So I applaud the citizens for really being real on top of this. Okay, so I hope that the guys can read blueprints and it can read this soil conservation, that we come back with that so there's no doubt for what we need to do. That's how I feel.
Thank you.
All right.
It's going to be on Wednesday. Wednesday because of the primary.
Right, it'll be on the 16th because there's a primary on the 15th of March.
What time, Mr. Councilman, please?
What time?
The meeting for council is always at 6:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
16.
Now, it'll be the 16th, that'll be Wednesday. Next Tuesday is the primary, and I hope you get, and you know I talk about this voting all the time. Please vote, especially that prosecutor race.
Okay.
Okay, please vote.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Councilwoman Graham.
Okay.
Well, my committee, General Services, hasn't met. It'll meet March 24th, 5:30. That's Thursday, the fourth Thursday of every month, so.
Thank you. Councilman King, Vice President.
Chair of the Finance Committee, we should be meeting next week before the council meeting, so that'll be Wednesday, an hour before the council meeting. Not out of my committee, but out of the committee of council as a whole. I'd like everyone to look at one of the papers you may have picked up on your way in. It's called the Good Neighbor Ambassador on one side, and on the other side it talks about a pothole patch program. So without going into details in a long, lengthy discussion, we need the residents to step up and do their part in helping us help you and provide better services to the city. You know, and we talk about this a lot, and I'm sure that the residents as a whole can and will, and that you in the audience can do more than come here and help us. You can do this too, right? So, Good Neighbor Ambassador. Anyone can get involved. Individuals, organizations, businesses, social clubs, block clubs, schools, anyone willing to make a difference. So what we're planning on rolling out as a first program, or I shouldn't say the first program, but one program is a Patch a Pothole program. And what we're asking is that you go out and you raise $150 and you can buy a ton of cold patch. Right? You bring it to the city council with your list of streets where you'd want the cold patch applied. The city will then pay for the cold patch, have the city employees go pick it up, and then put it down per your list. Now this is something that we've been doing for a couple years, because Wheeler and I have been involved with this for a couple years, and now we're trying to get everyone involved. And to show you we're committed to this, the council has already committed to 3 tons. So again, contact council's office, right? Or just show up with your $150 per ton, so you can buy more than 1 ton, and become a Good Neighbor Ambassador. Do more than just talk, right? Be about it. Don't just talk about it. Thank you.
I'd like to say something about that as well. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One thing I do want to add to that is that while we know that our taxes and what have you go to pay for these city services, we do realize that the city is strapped. And this is really not a thing that council, this is part of the administration. This is, but now we're going to try and work together. And I just want to reiterate that you know, that's what our taxes are supposed to be paying for, these city services. And we're not getting what we should because of the situation of the city. So I do want to encourage people, if you know of any organizations that may want to donate, whether they're inside the city or out of the city, just so we can try and step it up and do our part to get rid of some of those chokeholds, some of the things that, you know, just to try and see what we can do. It's just an idea. Realizing that it's not it's not anything that you should be doing as far as, you know, that's what your city taxes are supposed to be paying for, but that's not the case.
If I can go back on that too, to be a Good Neighbor Ambassador is crucial, right? Now we talked about this before, but we had some Good Neighbor Ambassadors who redid this hallway last year, right? And that's part of helping the city out. So if you got a street, you got a lot, it's got tall grass, you could come in front of council and tell us about it. Or you could become that Good Neighbor Ambassador and cut the grass, right? Cut the grass yourself. You drive by it every day, you know we're strapped, you come here, right? You know we're strapped, help us help you, right? And like Councilwoman Graham alluded to, administration is in on this, and also the judge, the courts, are actually all pushing this so that, you know, we can have more services, better services in East Cleveland.
All right, thank you. I chair the contracts and properties. We had a meeting scheduled for last week, but unfortunately I was ill, out of the office. But we rescheduled it for, Dr. Cabot said for next Thursday.
Next Thursday, we have to confirm the time.
It'll be next Thursday, I haven't confirmed the time, but we'll get it posted and get it out, probably sometime. Excuse me, Ms. Gowdy. So I'll have it posted tomorrow so everybody will know. And that's it for the committee comments. Legislation, you want to read the first one, please?
Okay, resolution number 02-16, a resolution authorizing East Cleveland City Council to engage Legacy Communications LLC in a 1-year, $20,000 contract to provide video, audio, and television production services for the city of East Cleveland. Sponsored by City Council Thomas J. Wheeler and Vice President Brandon L. King.
Of course, it's not to vote on tonight, it's whether we're going to move to the agenda next week. And then we can vote it up or down, whatever happens, happens, but get it off the table.
Well, let's get to it and get it off the table. I'm on record, and I don't want to get through a lot of rhetoric. It's been brought up. We had a history with Mr. Fambro for almost 15, almost 20 years of him. There was formally a request to get some equipment from him that he never got back. And I think it's just too much baggage with him. Also, government is about a process and procedure, and we probably underbid him at $20,000, but it has to go out to be bid, even though it's under $50,000. That's the fair thing to do. It's kind of like we're stirring this thing toward him because he came forward with a proposal. I just know that over the years we paid him a lot of money, and he tend to lean toward where the money is coming from, not to be too hard on him. So when we asked him that, the administration interceded and told him they have to do some things we asked him to do. So when I went to the cable people and they said, well, what about this and what about that? They said, well, Fambro has it. And Fambro said, well, it's a lot of mess there. So right now, my feeling is that we need to go forward and vote this thing up or down. The other part of it is priority. Is it important for us to give in $20,000 so people who do have East Cleveland cable, and that's not as much as it used to be. A lot of people got this and what's that other thing that people have now? Direct TV and Dish. So because it's cheaper. It starts out that way anyway. So we're getting to a segment of maybe the seniors at home that still have cable. With Netflix and all like that, I think that's even diminishing. I have cable, East Cleveland cable. I got it because I'm on council, but I also have Netflix and that other stuff. It's much cheaper. So my concern is the baggage that Mr. Fambro brings that you guys don't know about, that I know about, because I was there most of the years that he did contracts under Brewer, left under Brewer, under Norton, even going back further when he first got started. So that's my concern. Ultimately, it always boils down to the vote. So I'm ready to vote this thing up and down.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Any other comments, or we go to next Wednesday's meeting?
I had just a comment. I know Councilman Martin has talked about it a lot. His concerns, even though he hasn't elaborated on what they are. I think I would feel a little more comfortable if we took this to a half-a-year contract, and as opposed to a year. That way, if the things that Councilman Martin has alluded to, if they do rear their ugly head, we can find out. Then half a year go by quick.
Oh,
So I think I would feel more comfortable with a half a year. And then, you know, either way, I agree with, let's bring it to a vote. Vote it up or down.
I think that, as far as Vanderbilt specifically, what we need here is a way to get information out, valid, factual information out. So whether it's Vanderbilt or whoever it may be, I do agree with possibly maybe that with the bidding or what have you, just allow everyone to have a fair chance. If someone wants to, no one has come, you know, it's been tabled for a while, so no one stepped up to the plate as of yet. But just to do things, you know, dot your I's, cross your T's. I think that needs to be done. But I do think that it's necessary that we have a form of a way that we can get our information out without it being changed around or distorted based on personal agendas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So that moves to the agenda for next Wednesday. Resolution 505-16.
Okay, resolution number 05-16, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a stormwater management program service agreement with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for implementation of its regional stormwater management program between the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District and the city of East Cleveland, and declaring an emergency for the public health, safety, and welfare, requested by Mayor Gary A. Norton Jr. and sponsored by City Council President Thomas G.
Back to you, Councilman Martin.
It's time to act on this, and I'm hoping that before Wednesday, that the other things that came up at this meeting, that we can bring that up, and then we need to go on the vote and deal with this situation, either or. I'm open about this. I do have a proclivity, I'll say this for the record, the $46,000 agreement, I think we need to do that. If we don't do anything, we need to do that component. It's like they're articulated, there's two parts to this. If not, it was brought up that if we don't do it, we'll be sued $10,000 a day. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Thank you. Councilwoman Graham, any comment? Councilman Vice President Kenny?
No comment.
All right. That's why I'll be getting in contact with Mr. Hines at the end of the meeting. And
Of course.
the stormwater control management part, the EPA part, I agree with, and everything else we'll work out over the next few weeks on the other portion of how to do it. If we can't do it, we can get geotech or whatever. Okay. So we move forward to next week's agenda?
Yes.
Common consent, all right. Ordinance number 1-16.
Okay, for the record, this was recoded. It was 0616 on the last agenda. This is the first ordinance of the year, so it's recoded. An ordinance establishing and adopting hours for the regulation of new businesses in the service industry that seek to locate within the municipal boundaries after the passage of this legislation in the city of East Cleveland and declaring an emergency, requested by Mayor Gary A. Norton Jr. and sponsored by Councilor Martin.
Well, my understanding, and I need your help on this because we spent so much time on the Northeast Ohio Sewer District, the police and the fire. The law director stated that this was about closing facilities at 230 new facilities, and they will go in effect for new facilities. So she didn't really articulate it, and I would suggest at this point that she's there at our meeting on the 16th, and if I'm comfortable with what she has to say, I'll ask for us to put it on for first reading. I don't see this as an emergency. Okay, all right, okay. So that's my suggestion. If the law director can articulate it in the public, doesn't have a big problem with it, and it's about closing these facilities, because I complained at our meeting about Prevade is open at 5 in the morning, that kind of thing. Okay, all right.
Okay, it's so noted.
Okay.
Councilwoman Graham.
No, I was wondering why it had to be an emergency measure.
Vice President Kenny.
I need clarity around the need for this legislation, emergency or non-emergency. And I was actually hoping, Councilman Martin, you could give me a little more.
I don't have nothing up here that I can read. It was given to me a couple of weeks ago, and I really didn't have time to really sink into this one because I was really into the sewer thing, which was consuming. So that's why I want the law director to articulate and give us something as to what its purpose. It is sponsored by the mayor. It comes under me because it's kind of health and safety issue. So I can't speak really intelligently about it. That's why I need a little more information.
That's fine. All right, that concludes the legislation ordinance part. Remarks and requests of the public, 3 minutes only. State your name and your street. It's not personal. Direct.
Oh, come on.
I speak, I'll tell you, Graham
Man,
Robinson,
talking
Stan
about
Wood. It's kind of an addendum that I wanted to request or suggest with the citizens of East Cleveland in regards to what Mr. King has said. And Mr. Hines, can you step up for a second? Because this does kind of involve you a little bit, and I want to get some shit. What I want to shed is this, Mr. King, and I got to understand this. If this is a law or an ordinance or it has to abide this way, I need to know for sure if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, can it go towards someone who runs a reputable business that, I mean, no disrespect to you personally or city council, right now I don't trust the city with my money. And I would rather make sure that my money goes to somebody's hands who in turn, if it goes from that forward on to the city, be somebody with a reputable business that can also oversee that the city council as well as the citizens of East Cleveland would agree would be a mutual representative as far as this ambassador thing is